Daly, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Commissioner Daly. Ms. Abdullah, can I please have roll?
Commissioner Daly,
Here.
Commissioner Lopez, Commissioner Ivan Garcia,
Here.
Vice Chair Quayle,
Here.
Chair Sherrick,
Present.
Commissioner Galande, Commissioner Pratt,
Here.
Commissioner Carloni, Commissioner Orlando Garcia.
Thank you. I just wanted to state for the record, Commissioner Garcia could not attend and that he has said he's not receiving the emails of the agenda. So if we could just take a look into that. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I did inform staff, although I sent the staff report for the land use, and he received that. So
Okay.
if he changes email address, we'll correct that.
Thank you so much. A three-minute limitation shall apply to each member of the public who wishes to address the Planning Commission on any item on the agenda, excluding public hearings. There is not a limit to the number of items that may be discussed within the three-minute time limit. Ms. Abdullah, can you have the administration of oath for our public speakers, please?
Please stand and raise your right hand. For all public speakers, please. Yes, you would still need to take the oath. Yes. Okay. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this body will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you. Is there anybody wishing to speak on an item that is not on the agenda? Thank you. The next item is consent agenda. Consent items are routine in nature and may be enacted in one motion. All public and non-public hearings will be open at one time. Any item may be discussed separately upon request of a member of the Planning Commission or a member of the public. Does staff have any updates to the consent calendar?
Madam Chair, no, we don't.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak on the consent calendar? If not, may I entertain a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Well, second.
Thank you. Roll, please.
Motion passes unanimously. Vote passes unanimously.
You want to take our vote
Oh,
first?
yes, sorry. Commissioner Daly,
Yes.
Commissioner Ivan Garcia,
Yes.
Vice Chair Quayle,
Yes.
Chair Sherrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Pratt.
Yes.
All right, vote passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk election, right?
Yes, Madam Chair, that's the first item for discussion.
Would you like to take that over? Or do I have a script for that? Who's?
I can assist.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Hi, my name is Elise Taylor. I work with Best Besting Krieger. I'm here as part of the city attorney team.
Thank you.
No problem. So we're going to move forward with the election of officers. We're going to start with the chair and then we'll move to the vice chair. So we'll start with, are there any motions for chair?
Lisa, how do you like being chair?
I'll continue if necessary, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd second that motion if Lisa would like to continue.
Do you accept that nomination?
I accept.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, seeing none. Now we'll do a vote. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Daly,
Yes.
Commissioner Ivan Garcia,
Yes.
Vice Chair Quayle,
Yes.
Chair Sherrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Pratt?
Yes.
Vote passes unanimously.
Perfect. Thank you. And now we'll do the election for the vice chair. Do we have any recommendations?
Go ahead.
How do you like being vice chair, Larry?
Well, I enjoy it, but I'd like to get off of that position. Thank you. I would like to nominate Ivan.
Yeah.
I would like to nominate Ivan Garcia for vice chair.
Can we have a motion?
Motion?
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
And then we'll do a roll call vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Sherrick? Yes. Commissioner Pratt?
Yes.
Vote passes unanimously.
And then could you please read out the new positions? Yes.
Madam Chair, for Planning Commission Chair, Chair Sherrick will continue to be Chair of the Planning Commission. For Vice Chair, Commissioner Ivan Garcia is the new appointed Planning Vice Chair of the Planning Commission.
And these take effect immediately, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 4. This would be our Planning Commission will hear its public hearing item. The Planning Commission will hear a report from staff, and then the public hearing will be opened. The applicant will have an opportunity to speak. Next, members of the public will be allowed to speak. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak must be sworn in and fill out a request to speak form. The forms are located at the table near the door. When your name is called, come forward and speak your name into the microphone. Say and spell your name for the taped record. After all have spoken, the applicant will be allowed to respond. The public hearing will then be closed, and Planning Commission will begin deliberations and make a decision. All decisions except general plan amendments and municipal code amendments are final unless action to appeal is filed, and fees paid within 15 days to the Community Development and Housing Department. If you challenge the resulting action of the Planning Commission in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at the public hearing described in this agenda or in written correspondence delivered to the Community Development and Housing Department at or before a public hearing. Go ahead and introduce or open public hearing item number 4.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, Planning Commission, and members of our public. This should be a pretty quick one right now. Item number 4 is amendment to conditions 25-06. This is to update previously approved conditions of approval associated with General Plan Amendment 24-01. Zone Development Code Amendment or Zoning Map Amendment 24-01, Subdivision 24-04, and Development Permit Type P 24-04. Now, at the request of the applicant, we are requesting to ask the Planning Commission to move this item, not to the following meeting, but the one after that. This would be for the May 12th meeting. This is just to give the applicant additional time to review the updated conditions of approval and some of those supporting documents.
Move staff recommendation.
Let me go ahead and officially open the public hearing, please. I'll go ahead and, is that the end of your presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and officially open the public hearing at 6:13. Having no speaker cards, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing also at 6:13 and entertain a motion.
Motion to move staff recommendation to continue the item.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll, please.
I'm sorry, can I get who was second?
Second was by Quill, Commissioner Quill.
All right, Commissioner Daly?
Yes.
Vice Chair Ivan Garcia?
Yes.
Commissioner Quayle?
Yes.
Chair Sherrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Pratt?
Yes.
Vote passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item number 5.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners, and members of the public. My name is Christian James Calasan. I'm one of the planners for the City of San Bernardino. Tonight, I will be presenting to you all item number 5, Development Permit Type D, 21-09, and Variance 25-04. Item number 5 is a request to allow the development, establishment, and operation of a 6-unit storage building, approximately 6,221 square foot building, with a variance to reduce the required street setbacks from 10 feet to approximately 2 feet to 7 feet, and a reduction to the required side setback from 10 feet to 6 feet on an irregularly shaped parcel containing approximately 0.50 acres, which is approximately 22,464.80 square feet. The location of this project is on the southeast corner of East Mill Street and South Lena Road with an APN of 0280-061-05 within the Ward 3 and with the zoning designation of Industrial Light Zone. To give you guys more of a background of what this project is, I want to give you guys an idea of what this would be. This is the general plan's future circulation system that was adopted in 2005 to improve the overall roadwork network of the city. On this diagram, it illustrates South Lena Road, which is highlighted in red on the bottom right of your screen, to be a major arterial road to connect East Mill Street and East Central Avenue. Staff from Public Works is also available to discuss furthermore in regards to what the adopted document is. As noted, this project site is located within the Industrial Light Zone for the most part, and the surrounding vicinity of the project is consistent with the industrial land use, with a few properties up north that are commercial office. Here's the satellite map. The project site is highlighted in red and is surrounded by similar uses with permitted homes on the southeast corner of the parcel. Here's the current site condition. It's quite difficult to see, but when I visited the site, it's well maintained and there's no debris, and it's pretty clean when I went out there a couple of weeks ago. Here's another one. For reference, the following slide is oriented true north facing, pointing to your right, just to illustrate more of the visual diagram. This site design has seen a few iterations over the past few years, and this is the final layout to accommodate the circulation map that I previously discussed. The design will also incorporate the planned extension for South Lena Road, which will reduce the site of the parcel by 15%, which is approximately 3,900 square feet, which can be seen on the northeast corner of the diagram that's presented in PowerPoint. The western portion of the parcel will be dedicated to include the curb and gutter and to facilitate the future roadway. The project includes reduced side setback from 10 feet to approximately 2 feet to 7 feet to accommodate the street creation, and 10 feet to 6 feet of side setback to accommodate the location and encroachment of the proposed building. And that can be seen on the southern portion of the diagram. The project will be utilized by various industrial business for storage purposes. It will operate from Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Each unit is expected to accommodate approximately 1 to 3 employees with a one-way circulation to the site that will provide a 45-degree angle for parking stalls with the dimensions of 9 feet by 19 by 10 inches. This is the floor plan. It will incorporate a total of 1,000 square feet of storage space with a roll-up door for that industrial use. And it will also include an office and bathroom for each unit. As part of this project, the site will also be enhanced through a series of new landscaping improvements. The plan will include various trees, shrubbery that will be presented on the next slide. And this slide will illustrate how the landscape area will look as a mature plant species. The total landscape area in this site is approximately 5,469 square feet, which is a total of 24% of the site, which is above the required 15%. The proposed design will be consistent with the various industrial buildings in the area and will have similar articulation and color. The proposed height, which is what is zoned for, has a maximum 50 feet of height, and this one is currently at 25 feet. And the concept ensures compatibility with the surrounding industrial uses up north. And the coordinated elements of colors and landscaping will create a visually appealing development that supports the city's goals. Here's the rendering of the site to give you more of a visual appeal on how the project will look. And with that being said, staff's recommendation is for Planning Commission to adopt Resolution 2026-010, finding the project categorically exempt pursuant to Section 15332 infill development projects in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, and approving development permit type D 21-09 and variance 25-04, based on finding the fact the subject and the recommended conditions of approval. The property owner and the applicant is here for any questions or concerns regarding the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to speak at this time? Okay, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing at 6:20 p.m. Yes or no? No? Okay, I have one speaker, Steve Mitchell.
Good evening. Thank you for doing this at night. I don't know if this is normal. I've never, but I appreciate it because usually I have to take the day off work. So I know. Some kudos. There was a development on Valley View is where I live. So your pictures are a little wrong. The area is a little shot out. It has been kind of maintained, but as far as Valley View, you guys kind of forgot about us, but you did. Kudos to you guys again. You tore down the abandoned house. Thank you. It took 3 more fires, but you guys finally did it. Also with that area, your pictures aren't going to bring that type of people walking around like that. Your picture should show a car with the hood up. Drive around that area and look at some of those storage unit areas. It's not going to look like that picture, so you shouldn't really sell that part of it. But hey, I appreciate you coming over there and making the area, you know, sidewalks, that stuff. Honestly, I appreciate it. I know we're in a light industrial area. But, you know, you guys forgot about us in Valley View, about our sewer. You guys just left us on septic. The building went up across the street from me, forgot me again. You guys, you know, there's accountability here. You got 2 things in this world that nobody, none of us, God, your wife, your kids, nobody can take from you. That's your word and your character. You guys are forgetting about the people that live there. I'd love to go sewer. I'd love to get off septic. I'm looking forward to the street getting fixed. That street has been horrible for years. But, you know, there are some things I do appreciate. But, you know, you guys, I'm not realizing how much influence you guys have. I thought it was our councilmen that were a little shot out. But you guys have some issues too. Just don't forget about us, please. There's still houses there, even though there's just one person crying out in the wilderness. I'd be that one. So I do appreciate what you guys do. I do appreciate you coming over, but don't forget about us and don't sell that picture like that. It's drive around there and look around what kind of people. There's a bunch of cars with hoods up, especially in those storage areas, especially the kind you're proposing. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you. Does the applicant have any comments? If you could come to the microphone, please.
I'm a contractor, so I will be using 2 spaces of that building, and I'll make sure that it stays clean, because I'm going to be using it.
Thank you. Does staff want to address the sewer issue? Or is there any, can Public Works address the sewer issue?
Unfortunately, I'm not too aware in regards. Oh, that's fine.
Good evening, Commission, Vice
Good
Chair,
evening.
Chair, the rest of the Commission, and the members of the audience. Azam Jabshe, I'm the city engineer. Sewer is handled by either San Bernardino Water District or East Valley. I have to look at the map to designate which agency the sewer falls under. Public Works do not handle sewer. So.
Thank you, Azam. Can we follow up with the resident or let him know whom he needs to call, if it's our water department or East Valley?
Sure, will do.
Thank you so much. Mr. Mitchell, if you could give your contact information.
Yeah, does it? Yeah.
Thank you. I have no further speakers on this matter. I'll go ahead and, is there any questions by the commission? Commissioner Pratt?
I'm not familiar with a lot. Are all the utilities necessary already on the property?
No, sir. So that is going to be included to the property. So at the moment, it's currently vacant. All it has at the moment is a signal light on Mill Street and one utility pole on that site.
Okay, so my question would be, and you may have already addressed it, are we coordinating with the public utilities, Edison, what have you, to make sure that all of any street crossings are done prior to the street improvements, so that we're not, I know we have a 5-year moratorium once we pave, but I just want to make sure that we're not having any scheduling conflicts, putting the cart before the horse, if you will.
Yes, so that is actually part and included in the conditions of approval, that they have to make those adjustments into the signal light and the utilities on site.
And will the electrical utilities be underground approaching the property?
No, sir.
Okay.
I believe, speaking with our engineers this morning, if there's only one utility pole on the site, that they can be exempt. I'm sure Azam can speak on to that, but that's one of the conditions that was brought to my attention this morning, which is why it's not required to be underground.
Thank you.
Commissioner Daly?
Thank you. I don't have, it's more so a comment and I think some praise here to staff. This is a storage unit and, it's not necessarily the best land use, but the way that the landscaping is happening, the way it's going to look, notwithstanding the, people on bicycles driving by, but at least the site itself and the landscaping plan for it does a good job of enclosing it, providing a visually pleasing aesthetic along Mill, and certainly would like to see this kind of landscaping plan, as we have other projects, because this is certainly not the first storage facility that we've approved, but I think this might be the first one where I've actually seen the landscaping and been impressed. So kudos to staff for that.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to make a motion if that's appropriate.
I think, can you give me a second? Thank you. Did you have some other comments?
Madam Chair, I wanted Azam to respond to Commissioner Pratt's concerns regarding undergrounding utilities and coordinating the signaling at the intersection in front of the lights in front of the development.
Thank you.
Every project in the city is challenging as far as undergrounding. This location, based on, I'm going to read some verbiage for you, so be patient with me. From the municipal code, section 19.30, 110 for undergrounding utilities. So basically, the requirement to underground shall be applied to all utility lines traversing a subdivision or installed along either side of the street and alleys adjoining the subdivision, except for electrical lines of 33 kV or more, where one line is exempt, all parallel lines on that same pole shall be exempted. This parcel, I think we have one pole in the front. If I'm not mistaken, you look at the Google Maps, so they're exempted from undergrounding. But they're not exempted from relocating the pole at 1.5 feet from the curb line on Mill. Okay, so that's one of the requirements. And you have any other questions, Commissioner, on that requirement?
No, that pretty much answers it.
Okay.
I'm always concerned when existing power poles aren't relocated and they become, for lack of a better word, eyesores on a new property.
Exactly.
I do understand that with 33 kV, it's problematic to underground them sometimes.
Right.
But when we can, we should,
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Vice Chair Ivan Garcia.
So I had two questions regarding the parcel. On the aerial map, it appears it's rectangular, but then on the actual plans, it shows it as the parcel appears to be irregular, I'm calling it. So that's my first question. Then the next question, I wanted to get a little bit clarification on the reasoning for the setbacks.
Sure. So the first answer to that is that, as I mentioned, this project will be accommodating the circulation map that was adopted by the general plan a couple of 20 years ago, that connects Lena Street all the way down to Central Avenue. That connection alone has been included into this project, which is why there's a reduction to the portion of the property, and which is why there's a request to reduce the setbacks, because we are obtaining a portion of the property to create this road to connect Lena Street from Mill all the way to Central, which can be seen under the graphics on the bottom that's highlighted.
So basically, the applicant had to give a dedication of their space
Correct.
in order to create the road.
Correct.
I guess one other question, do we have a prelim site plan on that future road that maybe we can include as part of this application?
Unfortunately, at this point, no, we don't have a plan that shows the layout of the road. According to the general plan you're looking at from 2005, Lena should connect all the way from Mill all the way to Central. So it could be future CIP projects, if the parcels get developed, then some of the conditions will be to punch that road. But currently, the parcel itself is deadlocked. The only access for that parcel on the inner Mill, and then on the block, which is on the south end. So that's the only access for this parcel at this time. We're approving tonight is the dedication part of this map.
And I'm sorry, can you guys just show on the PowerPoint, maybe just so I better understand that area, or Central? I'm not following.
The site, the aerial map, sir. Yeah, this one.
I guess it's easier up here.
Yeah.
So on this map, you can kind of see a roadway connection. This one will connect this piece of line all the way to Lena right here. They will go down all the way to Central, which can be seen on this diagram. So our location is right here. And to answer your second question, the reason for the variance is to obtain that setback so they can encroach to make the project and development feasible, because we are asking the applicant to give up a portion of the property for the dedication of the street.
Thank you. That's all that I had.
Commissioner Pratt.
One more quick thing, and this is kind of just in general for any new projects, right? Our resident, address safety concerns, in the area, and lighting is key. I do see that there are light standards on the project, and we all know that a huge problem that we face in our city is copper wire theft. So there are ways to combat that. The site lighting can be solar, or we can just make sure that we purchase the light standards that have 15-foot high handholds to avoid theft. Just a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments by the commission? At this time, at 6:33, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Thank you. Roll, please. That was a motion by Commissioner Daly, a second by Commissioner Pratt.
Commissioner Daly?
Oh, yes.
Vice Chair Ivan Garcia?
Yes.
Chair Sherrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Quayle?
Yes.
And Commissioner Pratt?
Yes.
Thank you. The item passed. I'll go ahead and staff report number 6, please.
Before we begin, I want to give you guys a quick update that there was some changes to the conditions of approval that can be seen on the document in front of you. It's going to be on page 20, section C, that item label item I should be the very first one. Applicant and staff were able to make modifications in that conditions. And we've also included just a diagram of what other McDonald's look like, just for reference into the presentation. Okay. Item number 6, subdivision 26-03, tentative parcel map number 21096, and conditional use permit 25-02. It is a request to allow to consolidate 6 parcels into one, approximately 0.75 acres, for the restaurant drive-through McDonald's, to facilitate a building that's approximately 3,684 square feet. The project site is located on the northwest corner of West Baseline Street and North Sierra Way at 116 West Baseline Street, with an APN of 0146 223 through 26. It is within Ward 2, and the project is within the Commercial General CG-1 and a Transit Overlay District Zone. A quick background to what the Transit Overlay District. It is to promote transit-oriented development that encourages the use of transit stations and to reduce vehicular traffic and to promote interactive neighborhoods. The project site is located within the East Street neighborhood station area of the Transit Overlay District, which can be seen highlighted in red, which requires a specific development standard such as build-to-line requirement, height, and parking. The build-to-line standard establishes a unique setback requirement that mandates a 0 setback with a maximum allowance of 15 feet from the property line. And that is to encourage and promote building placement along the frontage of the properties. This is the zoning map. It is surrounded by commercial general zone, and it abuts a residential medium up north of the parcel. And it is located at the very end of the Transit Overlay District. This is the satellite map of the site. Currently, there are 2 buildings that will be demolished in creation of this development. Here are the current conditions of the property. There's 2 buildings there, as mentioned. Those 2 have been vacant for at least 4 or 5 years now. But visiting the site a couple of weeks ago, it's still well maintained, and it's still pretty clean. This is the proposed design. It will include a monument sign, a portico shear, a dual drive-through lanes, and a total of 25 parking stalls. The drive-through lanes can facilitate 14 vehicles with 7 vehicles behind the menu board. The monument sign and portico shear will act as a structure to suffice a Transit Overlay District build-to line, which is sitting on the bottom southern portions of the property right along the setback. The height of the monument sign will be approximately 20 feet tall, with the trash enclosure located on the northeast portion of the property. This McDonald's will operate as a full-service restaurant that offers dine-in, drive-through, and delivery. They will have a dedicated counters for mobile app orders and parking stalls for the drive-through orders and deliveries. They plan to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, utilizing 2 egress sites for access on Baseline and Sierra Way. Because of the Transit Overlay District, the parking requirement is reduced severely to 1 space per 300 square feet, resulting of a minimum of 13 required parking space. But as you guys know, McDonald's requires more than that, so the applicant team provided a total of 25 parking stalls on site to accommodate traffic and McDonald's itself. Here's the detailed floor plan. They plan to accommodate approximately 26 customers, which is highlighted in red as their dining room. Here is the location of the parcel. It is abutting a residential land use. And where that is where the menu board is. Upon review, we want to make sure that there's some noise study that's implemented on this location to make sure there's not going to be disruptions on the site. Because it's located in that site, we have asked them for evaluation of this noise study. The city's development code limits an exterior level noise within the residential area at 65 decibel. The diagram illustrates projected sound levels at various distance from the order board, with the highest level approximately 65 decibel. The distance of the 4 feet from the menu board at the nearest is approximately, at the nearest residential property line, approximately 13 feet away. It indicates that it's roughly around 23 decibels, which will be well below the threshold of the noise. We also wanted to have some mitigation plan in regards to the drive-through. So the applicant have provided 2 types of phases on the drive-through lanes. To prevent disruptions on site and circulation and adjacent street, we've created this diagram for staff for McDonald's to have and implement at all times. The drive-through aisle is divided into 2 phases. Phase 1 is shown in blue, representing the required vehicular stacking area, and Phase 2, shown in purple, identifies the overflow area to be used if vehicles begin to queue beyond Phase 1. Phase 2 conditions, staff will be stationed on site, which is located on the very top corner where the purple Phase 2 starts, and they will be designating vehicles on the location and where it starts, and they will be utilizing traffic cones to sway vehicles to where to start so that there's going to be some sort of traffic flow. This contingency plan must be implemented at all times to ensure traffic is managed safely and efficiently on site. This contingency plan has also been reviewed by Public Works Traffic, and they have approved this plan. This diagram is a representation of the truck turning template for the trash enclosure, and it has also been reviewed by Public Works, Integrated Waste, and Bertec. Bertec has mentioned that they will utilize Baseline Street, as seen from the diagram, as the main ingress of the property to lessen any disruption of traffic flow on site, and they will utilize North Sierra Way as their egress. To enhance the overall visual quality of the project, the applicant has proposed a diverse landscape palette designed to create a lush environment that complement the building and building architecture. The plan includes 4 types of trees, 9 shrubs, and 5 ground cover species distributed throughout the site. This site will highlight the placement of those features and how they would look as adult trees. The total landscape area is approximately 893 square feet, representing roughly around 21% of the site. In the next couple of slides, I will illustrate you guys what the proposed design will be. It will incorporate McDonald's new type of design, incorporating modern features, enhanced architecture, and refined materials. The building features varied roofline, architectural pop-outs, and to strengthen the facade, with the overall height of ranging from 19 feet to 23 feet. This is the primary site of the frontage of the property, with the primary materials of stucco with a dominant finish, and utilizing a complement of wooden, aluminum battens, stone veneers, wood siding, and metal parapets as an additive to make this design more cohesive with one another. They will also include on the front elevation, on the southern portion, an expanded window that will be distinctively contemporary element, with the monument sign and portico sheer located on that to integrate as a complement of overall architecture and character. On these 2 slides, you can see the height of the monument sign and the portico sheer that will be on the bottom to suffice the transit overlay district. This design concept ensures that the building materials and color palette will be cohesive in this location to create a visually appealing project to enhance the surrounding neighborhood and presents an attractive and contemporary appearance. The next few slides will be just a rendering of the project, just to give you all more of a personable idea how the project would look like. With that being said, staff's recommendation is for Planning Commission to adopt Resolution 2026-009, finding the project categorically exempt pursuant to Section 15332 Infill Development Projects in accordance to California Environmental Quality Act, and approving subdivision 26-03, tentative parcel map number 21096, and conditional use permit 25-02, based on finding of fact and subject to the recommended conditions of approval. The applicant and the team is actually here for any questions or concerns that you guys may have. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing at 6:43 p.m. Would the applicant like to speak?
Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Scott Wilkeson. I'm an area construction manager with McDonald's. I would first like to thank Christian and the rest of staff to help us get here tonight. A lot of coordination, a lot of meetings, a lot of guidance, good guidance that got us to the place we are. We're very proud of the project that is being presented here tonight. We have read through the conditions of approval, and everything looks good. And I'm here and the rest of my team to answer any questions you guys might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Ruben Mendoza?
Hello, everyone. Ruben Mendoza, Ward 7. Contrary to the previous speaker, I'm here in opposition of this agenda item. It's a McDonald's. And so we think that this is going to create, or maybe there's folks in the room that think that this is going to create new economic activity. And so consumer spending at a local level is already fixed. Someone that's going to Jack in the Box that night is going to elect to go to McDonald's instead. And so I think my opposition is very clear, right? My first job was at McDonald's. I'm 26 right now. I've been in the workforce now for 10 years. I started working since I was 16. Again, first job at McDonald's. That was in Rialto. I live now in San Bernardino with my girlfriend, Jasmine. We bought a crib out here 2 years ago. And so every so often when I go back to Rialto and I see my family near that McDonald's, right, that I worked at, it's almost fully automated at this point. You don't really see bodies on site. And so this new job creation, who is it really for? Is it for the developers in the room, or is it for the people that actually live in the community? And so I'm going on record that this is just straight up whack and you guys should not approve it.
Robert Carrillo?
Hello, Commissioner Daly, Mr. Elliott.
Can you turn your microphone on, please?
All right. Yep. Good evening. Again, Commissioner Daly, Mr. Elliott, commissioners. My name is Robert Carrillo. I'm a San Bernardino resident, business owner, and real estate developer currently working on a mixed-use development directly across the street from the proposed site on Baseline. Before I get into my comments, I'll admit something publicly, and that's that I've probably eaten more Big Macs than I should admit, and their fries are still my favorite, so this isn't coming from a place of hate. My comments are really about land use and corridor planning. San Bernardino has made it clear that RHNA housing production goals will guide land use decisions and resource allocation, and the state has created tools like AB 2011 and density bonus laws specifically to encourage housing and mixed-use development along commercial corridors and transit routes like Baseline. And through the general plan and development code, the city has also established a transit-oriented development framework for corridors like this one, right? And I'll make a quick correction that the benefit of being able to build to the lot line is to maximize density of residential units, not to accommodate a commercial single-story building. Right? So corridor parcels like this are some of the most valuable land use opportunities the city has because they're the places where housing, transit, and commercial activity all work together. So when we look at a parcel like this, about 3/4 of an acre, the question isn't whether McDonald's should invest in San Bernardino. The data will show you that they should, right? But it's whether this is the right form of investment for a transit-oriented development corridor. What is the highest and best long-term use of land in a TOD environment? A single-story auto-oriented drive-through is one form of development, but it's also one that can lock in low-intensity land use for decades, especially at a time when cities across California are being asked to prioritize housing and transit-supportive growth. When land sits on a corridor and transit-oriented housing potential, every land use decision carries an opportunity cost. So I would simply encourage the commission to consider whether there may be alternative forms of development that better align with the city's TOD vision and housing goals, whether that's urban format retail, mixed-use buildings, or projects that allow commercial activity while also supporting housing production. Hey, we can have a McDonald's with residential above. So because corridor parcels like this are rare opportunities, right? Once we decide what goes here, we're living with that decision for the next 30 to 40 years. My hope is we choose something that reflects where San Bernardino is going, not where it's been. Thank you.
Yvette Romero.
Hello, everybody, commissioners and community. My name is Yvette Romero. I live, work, and play in San Bernardino. I've also been a nurse for 18 years, and about 4 years ago made the transition to real estate and community development because healthcare teaches you something critical. Health doesn't start in a hospital or clinic or with your doctor, it starts in our neighborhoods. So as a nurse and now a development leader working on attainable housing, economic mobility in San Bernardino, I look at this decision through the lens of social determinants of health. The conditions that shape whether families have a fair chance to thrive. And tonight, I just want to focus on one, access to healthy food. The city's own data shows an imbalance. The city's environmental scan tells us as of 2023, San Bernardino has 24 full-service grocery stores, but approximately 85 fast food and convenience outlets. That's more than 3 times more unhealthy food outlets than healthy food outlets. This is what public health researchers call a food swamp, where unhealthy options overwhelm the healthy ones. So let's talk about our health conditions here in San Bernardino. Again, another report put out by the city, the Quality of Life report, lists that the top 5 adult health conditions: obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, arthritis, and diabetes. Research from Research from American Journal of Preventive Medicine and other research that I could share with y'all, if you're interested, shows greater fast food density and is associated with higher obesity risk, higher exposure linked to increased diabetes rates, and associations with cardiovascular disease and stroke mortality, all in line with our 5 adult health conditions in San Bernardino. But this isn't about one drive-through, and no one is saying one location causes this disease, but public health is about risk environments and cumulative burden. When unhealthy options cluster in communities already facing inequities, land use decisions matter. Furthermore, national research shows fast food outlets are more concentrated in lower income neighborhoods and communities of color. That pattern reflects structural inequities that public health experts describe as environmental racism, when harmful land use are disproportionately placed in vulnerable communities. So we must ask, are we reinforcing inequities or are we doing something about it? We should not add avoidable environmental stressors to neighborhoods that are already overburdened. This isn't about anti-business, anti-economic development. It's about pro-health, pro-equity, and pro-community. If we are serious about economic development, attainable housing, as Robert mentioned, and giving families a fair chance of healthy lives, then our land use decisions must reflect that commitment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hannah, I don't want to butcher your last name. Okay, thank you. Amori?
Same.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I have no further speakers. Would the applicant like to address any of the comments?
I'll let staff touch on the land use stuff. That's a little out of my role. But I will say that, this new restaurant will contribute to typically between 60 to 100 new jobs. And it's typically, local. So that is but one of the responses that I had that's in my control. So, thanks.
Thank you. Are there any questions by the commission to staff? Commissioner Daly.
Thank you. I guess, these are more rhetorical questions because it's going to be hard to answer them. But, when the transit-oriented, the TOD overlay district was created, drive-throughs were not consistent with the idea of transit-oriented development. Walkable neighborhoods, bringing the buildings to the front, lowering the parking standards because the accessibility to high-quality transit. And so, I'm going to have a hard time voting yes on this, just simply because we're putting a drive-through in a TOD overlay district. And, the comments around the density of fast food, we've talked about it on this commission a lot. And the desire to see sit-down restaurants, the desire to see something other than a drive-through. And I know we've approved a lot of drive-throughs. I know I've approved a lot of drive-throughs, but, there are other places outside of overlay district, the transit overlay district, where these can go. It's not it's nothing against McDonald's. I've approved dozens of them, I feel like. But the purpose of the overlay district was to create development that encouraged walkability, and it encouraged higher density developments, mixed use, ground floor retail with housing above. That was the intent. That was what we hoped to see. And so I'm going to have a real hard time voting in favor of this simply because we're talking about putting a drive-through in the middle of the TOD overlay district. So those are my comments.
So I just want to do a quick response. Similar to the project we approved recently under the Transit Overlay District, we do have it on the document that if it's allowed under a conditional use permit, that the project is able to be approved by staff and be recommended. So I understand with regards to the promotion of the walkability aspect for drive-thrus, but we do have it on the passage for the Transit Overlay District that allows it under a CUP, which is why we're here.
Understood. I didn't like voting for it then. I don't like it now.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to commissioners and then I'll come back. Commissioner Quill?
Yes, thank you. I have a couple of questions, actually. The architectural design, is that something that McDonald's came up with, or is that something that staff at the city came up with?
As per what I was informed by McDonald's, that is the new corporate look that McDonald's are trying to push out. So as the team can speak, we've tried to get more of the old school McDonald's, but moving forward, McDonald's did want to push out the newer, modern, contemporary look as listed and provided to you guys by illustration by other McDonald's in the area to provide that this is what they're promoting moving forward.
Okay, thank you. I guess I'm just old school and I like the old colors and the bright colors and makes things look alive. So when you do these illustrations, you might want to do a night view also with the lighting that's available in today's opportunities. There's some real dramatic things and nice things that can be done. The second question I have is the entrance and the exit. We've seen a lot of accidents when you have driveways so close to the intersections. And it looks as though that has been addressed by
Yes, it's been addressed by Public Works. There's roughly approximately 100 feet from the curb, and it's been the layout as is has been approved and reviewed by them.
Okay, so there will be signs that indicate right turn only going on to Baseline?
It's not going to be a right turn only, as is going to be available, but in regards to the drive-through lane, it will be a right turn for the exit for where they're located on the southern portion of the property. But both lanes will be available for egress and ingress.
Okay, if we do move forward, I would like to see a condition that we have a small monument sign that says right turn only on the Baseline. I think it'll alleviate some problems with people trying to go across Baseline.
Okay.
To go east. So Baseline's a busy street.
Yes,
and lo and behold, there'll be somebody that'll pull out and try and get through that intersection. And I'm only saying this because I was stopped by a police officer one time for doing that. And he made it real clear to me. He says, yeah, it may not be against the law, but common sense tells you that you stand a good chance of getting into an accident by jumping into that traffic. And I agreed with him. And I saved a ticket. Okay, thank you.
Did the applicant want to address that?
Yeah, hi, I'm Hannah Lovano. I'm the civil engineer with the project for McDonald's. Just quick clarity, the driveway on Baseline is right in, right out only. We're happy to add signage on site to make sure that that's reinforced by people coming in, or I guess exiting. And then there's a double yellow stripe on Baseline, I believe. So theoretically, the striping would indicate that that's an illegal movement to turn left into the property. We've also prohibited U-turns eastbound on Baseline so that people aren't trying to flip a U-turn and turn right. It's too small. Big trucks and even small cars would probably not be able to do the maneuver. So we're proposing to add no U-turn signage on the signal eastbound on Baseline. So we've looked at that intersection, and to your point, want to try to mitigate some of those concerns. And then the driveway on Sierra is full movement in, right turn out only. So
Okay.
again, we can look at signage options, but we've looked at this intersection pretty heavily, and yeah, we want to make sure it's safer than what it is
Great,
today.
I'm glad you addressed that.
Yeah, thank
It looks
you.
like a concern. Thank you.
Commissioner Pratt.
So I have one question and then some comments. My question would be for staff. I think you said the property's been vacant 5 years. Have there been other proposed developments on the project site?
Correct. So on a review, looking at business registration and licensing, I believe the last active license was in 2019 for both buildings. And for the time I've been here or any record that I've seen, there hasn't been any proposed project on this site since then.
Thank you. And so my comments are these. I was just having a conversation with Commissioner Daley prior to this meeting about mixed use and how we think that's valuable to the community. And I'm also concerned that with our overlay districts and provisions that we make to better our city, we always find ways to workarounds to circumvent these things. Little personal information. I've been a football coach most of my life. I coached at Pacific High School for 9 seasons, and I also am aware of the lack of healthy options for the residents in that area. And it's concerning to me. And again, I just want to circle back to the idea that we have these best intentions all the time about ways that we can improve the city that I love, that I lived in my whole life, and then we find ways not to do that. And this feels like another example of us doing that. I always am concerned about what is actually in the purview of the Planning Commission, what we can and can't consider. Public comment is not shouldn't be an empty formality given to the residents. It should be considered, right, and taken very seriously. And I do take it seriously. I'll leave it at that for now.
Vice Chair Garcia.
My questions and comments are related to conditions of approval. Can you clarify, do we have anything in regards to street improvements? If there's any up to center line of on the street for Baseline and Sierra Avenue, and would the applicant be open to considering that?
Yeah, it's a good question, and thank you for asking it, because we've put a lot of work and a lot of coordination in making that a priority for this project. So the way that the conditions read currently, we would be doing a full pavement rehabilitation to the center line on Baseline. And then on North Sierra, we would be doing new curb gutter along with new sidewalk across both street frontages for ADA accessibility. That includes the two new driveway approaches, the whole thing. We're also doing a wider curb radius on that hard corner per your guys' general plan, which I think allows for more like truck accessibility in that area, delivery trucks and things like that. So yeah, the offsites is a huge component of this project, and it's something we've looked really closely at.
And my second question was related to the landscape plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm opposed against the Magnolia Glendifloria because those trees are very massive. And I see that you have some laid out along Baseline and Sierra. I think we highly need to reconsider, have our landscape architect or even our arborist take a look at this plan and verify if it complies with our landscape palette.
Okay.
So upon doing research in regards to the Magnolia, I do understand that the tree can grow substantially large in regards to that. So doing some research and trying to understand and accommodate that where the location is at, Magnolia grandifolia approximately grow 1 to 2 feet per year. and the maximum height of these trees are 60 to 80 feet. So the maximum height that you can see on the illustration behind you guys is roughly going to take 40 years. And there will be conditions of approval to ensure that landscape are maintained, just in case these trees are become a nuisance to the city.
If we could just consider that comment, because I've worked at other colleges where they have a master plan on trees, and I've seen these trees grow very massive, and they do damage to sidewalks, even driveway approaches. So if we could just take a closer look at that, and I'm definitely for the project, because I drive along Baseline every day, and it's been an eyesore. I moved here in 2018. And there's been break-ins to this building, tampering to water shut-off valves, homeless, causing fires. This used to be an old Dollar Tree.
Correct.
And I know we have the Crestview Apartments on Waterman Baseline, and there's more development going on there. I think some of the residents in the city could take advantage of this restaurant. And I like the fact that we're going to bring more employment to local residents. So that's all I have. Thank you.
I have a question. Did the applicant want to speak?
At your convenience.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Zishan Yunus. I'm the consultant for McDonald's. I'm the vice president at Kurt Pringle and Associates. We do government relations, entitlements, and community engagement. I've been serving McDonald's in this role for nearly a decade now, working on a multitude of projects. And I want to contextualize kind of, how we're here tonight, and I appreciate comments about the purview of the Planning Commission, and we worked really hard to ensure that this was a project that completely aligned with all of your zoning considerations. And we started preliminarily, prior to even submitting an application, working with Mr. Elliott and his team, the city manager, the mayor, to say, hey, is there an appetite for this project in your city? Do you want it? Do you like it? Is it something that would be beneficial to your community? And my wife and I live in a historic home that's 100 years old, and right on the other side of our wall was a vacant lot for many years. And a fast food restaurant came in and made a substantial difference in the way that it looks, the look and feel, our property value, walkability. I understand that a drive-through and a TOD don't necessarily seem to mesh on paper. However, a significant portion of McDonald's business is pedestrian-oriented and walk-up. And many of the employees, I would say close to 70%, use public transportation and are from the local community. So this is a development that aligns philosophically with what I think San Bernardino needs. And I truly believe that the emphasis and the investment into the parcel is going to reverberate out into the community in a very positive way. If there are any other questions as it relates to kind of the history of the project and how we got here, I'm certainly happy to answer those. But I did want to contextualize that we started this before even applying to say, do you want it? Do you like it? And the answer was yes. And I think the staff recommendation, thanks to Christian and his team, echoes that as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. One question. You're open 24 hours. What are the walk-up hours?
Scott,
or the restaurant hours for walking in?
Yeah, so typically the lobby is open from 5 a.m. to midnight. Now that's typically. This has not been franchised yet. And so McDonald's typically allows the franchisee to choose those hours kind of based on customer activity and what fits best. But I would say those are typical lobby closes at midnight.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to, and I thank you for the applicant. I get frustrated when commissioners or council say I echo my commissioners or my council's thoughts, but looking philosophically at this, the department does bring us projects that don't fit in the TOD, specifically all along 5th Street, and we approve those. A car washes in the transit overlay district. That doesn't fit either, and it's frustrating. Either the transit overlay district needs to be modified, or the department needs to stop bringing us these projects, because if they don't fit, they shouldn't be brought to us. And on the flip side of that, if the developer feels like this project is going to thrive in an area, that's their investment and risk that they are going to take. So it's and I know sometimes the department has to bring us projects, even though they may not want to, or it's something that they have to do. It's procedural. I get that, but but then for it to be staff's recommendation to approve it when it's not aligning with that district, is a hard one. It is definitely a hard one. If there are no further comments by the commission, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
I have a comment. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I agree, but I believe our city would have more benefit if we had somebody within the city that worked with the developers and went out and researched these opportunities to bring businesses into the community more so. I think that's what we're lacking as a city. And with the opportunity for somebody to come to our city, take a risk, open a business, I have to commend them for that, because it's much better than looking at a rundown driveway on that corner for a long time. And so I think another restaurant in that area is good. I keep dating myself because I look back when there used to be a walk-in restaurant on Baseline.
Please don't yell from the audience.
And so I'm going to support this, and I'm going to support it for the reason that we have a lack of somebody trying to market businesses within our city. We need to have a restaurant in that area, and I think if this is what we're going to get, I think McDonald's does a good job. So if we're talking about quality of food, or we're talking something like that, that's something that can be changed if we have the right departments in the city that are out working to do that. So it is what it is.
One moment,
Thank you.
Commissioner Daly. On Commissioner Quill's point, he says this every commission meeting. And Mr. Elliott, you say that we have that position available. What is the status of that position?
Madam Chair, I think what Commissioner Quill is referring to is somebody who works in the Economic Development Department. We have an ombudsman position. That particular position is designed to be the person who interfaces with the development community for permitting processing, is my understanding of what that position was designed to do. That is not somebody who goes out and tries to entice people to come and do business in this city. That job is way over the description of what that person is. What Mr. Quill is referring to, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is economic development. We have an economic development director position that has been vacant. The city manager has been trying to fill that position, and I think it's gone through several interviews. What he's finding out is most cities do not have economic development directors. They have economic development managers, because economic development operates either out of community development, which it was the way it was before one city manager changed it, or the city manager's office. So that is where we are. Our staff goes out to ICSC. They go out to all these big highfalutin meetings with shopping center developers to attract business into the city. But it is, I'm going to just stick my neck out and say that what we're getting is not from lack of trying. San Bernardino has a reputation. A lot of businesses do not trust the city for whatever reason. They talk about a high turnover. They talk about the lack of coordination amongst cities' elected officials. So there's a lot in this ocean of concerns that we have. So when a business like McDonald's comes and says, we're interested in this position, the applicant can tell you, our initial conversations were very difficult ones. You're adjacent residential. You have to do street dedication. You have to do all kinds of things. They're stuck with it. The TOD issue, it can be allowed by CUP. So hear it. We're not getting our doors blown away by projects that want to take advantage. I think Mr. Carrillo's project is one of those that we have that is taking advantage of the TOD. It is there for a reason, but this has been a vacant parcel for a long time. I don't know, are we going to wait another 2 years and have the building burnt down before we do something with it? We're not in a position where we can pick and choose, unfortunately. And I'm not saying that, I don't mean that by saying we take whatever we get. McDonald's is not whatever we get. McDonald's is a reputable company. So it is, at the end of the day, it is up to the commissioners to decide whether or not they want to approve the CUP. There have been times when we've recommended approval on things, you've denied them. There are times we recommended denial on things, you approve them. So.
And to your point, Mr. Elliott, the economic development manager would work on city-owned property, correct? Not commercially owned property?
Economic development manager would work on city-owned property, but they would also be able to market the city to, to businesses and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Daly?
Thank you.
One minute. Mr. Elliott, you are correct. And through the years, we have had an aggressive economic development agency. We've seen a lot of good development in our community. And I hope as the future goes forward that we find an applicant or somebody that can fill that position, because with all these plans we have for the city, that is what is needed more so than anything. And they do work with developers. They bring developers into the community. So that is one department that really needs to be taken a look at. So thank you.
Commissioner Daly?
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate the strain there, having a vacant building, the potential code enforcement related matters, public safety related matters. So, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the fact that development is not knocking down our doors right now, with the exception of drive-throughs and storage units. And car washes, car washes as well. To Commissioner Quill's point, I don't see a drive-through. This is McDonald's, right? This isn't a restaurant. This, no disrespect to McDonald's at all, right? Everybody loves McDonald's, but it's a drive-through. I've been on this commission now, 2 years, 3 years, something like that. Consistently, it'd be great if we had like a sit-down restaurant, a place you could go and sit down and have a drink and all of that. And it for whatever reason, we just can't seem to get that going. And I understand all the reasons why. But land use is one of those things, once it's there, it's there. We've got a bunch of old houses that sit around the BNSF rail yard because when the yard was built, houses went around it because those people that worked at the rail yard walked to work. And now it's there, right? The rail yard is, got the highest level of community risk in the entire state because of the proximity to all those houses. And so land use choices that we make now will have impacts down the road, decades upon decades upon decades. And I think that we have been shortchanging ourselves by, I think Commissioner Pratt used the term to kind of find loopholes. And I'm very familiar with the Transit Overlay District. I wrote the grant that led to this thing getting adopted. So, I know what the intent was, and so the idea to hear that, there's some workarounds to allow for a drive-through or a car wash, which is very auto-dependent uses. The whole point of the Transit Overlay District was to discourage auto-dependent uses. There are tons of places throughout San Bernardino that are already auto-dependent. And by all means, put as many drive-throughs as you want. Sounds like we got like 85 of them in the city. We have to preserve something so that development can occur that is acceptable, that is, points to our, improvement as a city and not just taking the stuff that comes to us. And so, for that reason, I'm not going to be able to support this.
If we have no further comments, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:18 PM and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve staff's recommendations for this item.
I'll second that.
That's a motion by Co-Chair Garcia and a second by Commissioner Quill.
Commissioner Daly,
No.
Vice Chair Ivan Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Quayle,
Yes.
Chair Sherrick,
No.
Commissioner Pratt,
No.
Madam Chair,
Sir.
I don't know the formalities on council here, but I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that staff deny, or that the commission deny the staff recommendation. Any issues with that?
A procedural standpoint, no, you've made a motion. The motion needs to be seconded and a vote needs to be taken because it's an alternate. Well, you already made a motion that failed, so you have another motion which has to be voted on. And once that motion is voted on, then we can go into some of the findings that would need to be made in support of a denial of the CUP.
Okay.
I'll second the motion then.
It's a motion by Commissioner Daly, a second by Commissioner Pratt to deny the motion. And take roll.
Commissioner Daly,
Yes.
Vice Chair Ivan Garcia,
No.
Commissioner Quayle,
No.
Chair Sherrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Pratt.
Yes.
Vote passes 3-2.
Thank you.
So it's my understanding we need to go through the findings of fact at this point, correct?
Madam Chair, it would be helpful if, because there are some findings that were made in support of this development, if there are any specific findings that you think need to be made in relation to this. I think Commissioner Daly's already outlined what those could be, which is a TOD and its what it really means to the city and why it's there, et cetera, et cetera. And also, as we are doing this, the applicant also needs to be aware that they have the ability to appeal your decision to the City Council. So your decision is a recommendation to the City Council, and if they're so willing, they may appeal your decision to the City Council within 15 days of the decision. Thank you.
Understood. Council, are there any other, commissions, are there any other findings of facts that you'd like to discuss?
I think as long as everything, if what I've said has been captured, then I've said my piece.
Commissioner Pratt? Same. Okay. We're good.
Good.
Thank you. Please don't take it personal, McDonald's. It's not personal. Item number, I think that's the end of our public hearings. Is that correct?
Yes, Madam Chair, it is.
So item number 7, the revocation of 111 West Redlands Boulevard.
I'm so sorry. I just wanted for item number 6.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that, so we have the findings on the record, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you're going to bring that back to staff to memorialize it?
We would have to bring those findings back to the Planning Commission at the next Planning Commission meeting to memorialize. And the Planning Commission meets once a month.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Commissioner Pratt?
I just have one more comment, and again, I come from the development community, and I understand how much planning and work goes into something like this, and I don't take that lightly. I also understand that a developer stands to make profit a large sum from something like this, and although it would take a considerable amount of effort and more time, I would encourage the applicant to consider, a mixed-use revision, something that's more compatible, with the TOD.
Or another location.
Yeah, or another location is the other option. But we want to encourage mixed use. Just a thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 7, discussion revocation 2601-111 West Redlands Boulevard. Who is presenting the report?
I am presenting that report. Madam Chair, at the last Planning Commission meeting, we discussed revocation of the CUP for that facility. We went back and forth and came to the conclusion that the letter that was written by the Illumination Foundation and the city's acceptance of that constituted revocation of the conditional use permit. You wanted us to bring that letter back this evening. So in your handout, you have the letter from the Illumination Foundation and a letter from the city acknowledging and accepting the vacation of that CUP, which constitutes the revocation of the CUP per the direction given by Attorney Maldonado. So that's what item number 7 is. However, I have our building official in the audience this evening, and I know that one of the things that led to some of the decisions that we've made is some of the work that had been done within those units, and they were not done legally, et cetera, et cetera. You had set some deadlines with the representatives of both 111 and the other facility. Mr. Arellano can actually give us an update on where those things are. It's kind of not consequential anymore for the Redlands location, and it's not consequential anymore for the Ostrom's Way location, but just to let you know that the direction you gave regarding when these things need to be done, Mr. Arellano has a timeline for that. Jerry?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. So what I'll be mentioning is really more or less an update to both properties, both Motel 6 properties, one at 111 West Redlands Boulevard, and the second one at 1960 Ostrom's Way. So with regard to the Redlands Boulevard, there hasn't been any movement since Director Elliott's update last month. As of today, the applicant, their designer, has the first set of plan review corrections, and we await for their resubmittal with the updated plans for a re-review. And when it comes to the Ostrom's Way, the 1960 Ostrom's Way location, there was an update that I failed to mention to Director Elliott for last month's update, which is actually on January 28th. Code enforcement did issue their first administrative citation of $300 for lack of compliance to move toward building code compliance for all the unpermitted construction. So the thing is, after the February 10th Planning Commission, where Mr. Elliott gave an update, 2 days later, the applicant did submit a permit application for a building permit for all the unpermitted construction. Then the first round of plan check comments were issued March 4th, and the designer for the business owner picked up the plans the day after on March 5th. So to date, in summation, both properties do currently have applications to move toward building code compliance for all the unpermitted construction, and the applicant has the first set of plan check corrections, and we await their resubmittal for both properties.
Thank you. Are there any questions by the Commission?
I guess I have a question.
Commissioner Daly.
So what happens next? I mean, those applications for them to get up to code, that's not going to come to us, right?
Correct, sir. Because the applications, there is no longer an application for a change of occupancy category. It is now just a building permit for improvements, for renovations.
Okay.
That's all it is. So I don't think it will go to the planning commission, only because the use is going to remain.
Yeah.
It's just compliance with the
So
building
they're just
code.
going to get themselves up to code, working with you all, and then they'll be able to go back to operating, was it a hotel, motel?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? Vice Chair Garcia?
The only question that I had or concern was, is there any way that city staff can go out and take photos of post conditions? How are we going to track, or how are we going to verify what's been demoed, reconstructed, improved, repaired, altered? I'm sorry.
Certainly, Commissioner Garcia. So when we first learned of the unpermitted renovations, we did go to the site a number of times with myself and another building inspector and code enforcement. It's clear to me that at least on Ostrom's Way, all 96 motel rooms were just renovated for finishes, painting, flooring, and changes in bathroom fixtures, sinks, toilets, and tubs. The one clear renovation that I observed where they moved walls was the main lobby, where it was evident on the walls, on the ceilings, there were markings there. There were clearly walls were once there. So those, we have a good bank of photographs of the after. Sometimes the challenge is, depending on how well the workmanship is, what was it before? But it was clear that in all 96 rooms, it was just finishes, and anything structural or layout change it occurred in the main lobby.
I would prefer if we can get something, compare the as-built conditions when the motel was constructed, and do a side-by-side on the as-built versus the new construction.
Is that in the purview of the Planning Commission?
Can we, as a planning commission, can we direct staff to provide that? Because this is a second project from this applicant that comes to us with out pulling permits and making renovations. So how are we going to prevent this on other renovation projects in the city?
Madam Chair, Vice Chair Garcia, this item is no longer before the Planning Commission. The CUP has been vacated on both locations. We're just bringing you this update just as
to close it out.
Just to close it out so that you know what is been happening on the property. But what you just talked about are things that we would do during our normal day-to-day activities anyway. Ms. Ariano is going to make sure that the work is done properly, and if they have to take pictures of activities happening, I think they will do that. But unless there is as an action on the property that is within the purview of the Planning Commission, that there is giving direction to that nature would not be within your purview.
I guess I'm just looking for clarifications, right? This was a CUP, was presented, and it seems like the project started. And how do we close out this project that started without a permit? That's my concern.
But the permits aren't a purview of the Planning Commission, and the CUP is no longer an issue.
Yeah. So the CUP has been vacated. The CUP for the Ostrom's Way has actually been rescinded by the Planning Commission, and the CUP for the Redlands Boulevard, according to the letters that the Commission agreed to, has also been withdrawn. So there's no more CUPs to deal with. We're just bringing you this as an update of all the issues that you had with the property before the CUPs were revoked. This is where we are.
So I guess, again, I just want to express my concern. How do we close this out then? Because, again, we this item was approved sometime back, a couple months back. The CUP, the applicant began working on alterations and improvements to this structure. And how, as a city staff, are we verifying that whatever was altered, whatever was repaired, is structurally sound, is safe for
Okay, so that is within the purview of the building official,
Right.
and that is what he's talking about right now. Is there's ongoing work as far as those permitting processes are concerned.
Okay, so does that report just go to city council now? What, I guess I'm having a hard time
It would be like
understanding.
any other code enforcement case where unpermitted work is taking place. It's handled at the department level.
So it's not going to it won't go to council. It's not going to come back to us. We yanked the CUP, so the CUP's out, right? That's the vacation. So no more CUP. Now, the building department has gone and fined these folks $300 a day?
It was $300 for the first citation.
$300 for the first citation. So they fined them for the existing building not being in building code compliance. And so now what I heard is they came in right after they got that fine and have applied to a building permit to get everything up to code. And so all of that's going to be handled at the staff level, and they won't receive a certificate of occupancy.
Well, they have a certificate of occupancy. However, the building permit is going to require them to gain compliance. Otherwise, the fees will continue and they accumulate.
Yeah.
So they're going to keep getting fined and hit until they bring it all the way up to code. And once it's up to code, it's an existing use as a motel.
Yes, sir.
Right. So the motel will continue to operate as a motel. It'll just be that the building is now up to fully code.
Okay. Any other questions? No. Okay, I think we can go on to item number 8.
Madam Chair, members of the Planning Commission, I sent you the general plan land use element summary. I don't know if all of you received it in your emails. I sent it out. I think I sent it out at either late Sunday or yesterday. A few of you did receive it. If you did not receive it, we can have copies made for you, but you did ask for in fact, I volunteered to provide that summary because the land use element is the element that is most critical to the function of the Planning Commission. Commissioner Daly mentioned it, land use. So that you know what it is we're doing as far as the current land use element and how that influences our development code. So the report you have is about a 5-page report that shows what we currently do, where we're going, and it basically looks specifically at zoning designations, the kinds of commercial, the kinds of residential land use classifications we have, and what the new classifications would be. And the same thing goes for commercial, industrial, and special districts, et cetera, et cetera. So it looks like not all of you received it. Is that correct?
I will say that I have been sick in bed all weekend and have not looked at my email.
Who did not receive it?
I did receive it.
Commissioner Garcia, did you receive it?
I received it.
Commissioner Quill, you received it? Commissioner Pratt? So, do you want a copy?
Yes, please.
All right. I brought one with me just for that purpose.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you. Are you looking for direction from this commission?
I'm looking for whatever it is you've got. Comments, questions, direction, whatsoever, because we're at the stage now where this thing is going to come at you really fast and furious. And we're not only going to be looking at the land use, you're going to be looking at the entire general plan update itself, which contains several other elements, and this is just one of them. You also are going to be looking at the development code itself, which is the one that actually identifies where these land uses are going to be located, what are the development standards, et cetera, and you will also be looking at the downtown specific plan, which I had sent maybe about a month ago or so, so if you have any comments on any of those, I'm more than happy to receive them, because I have to share them with the consultant.
Yes.
So that if they have to make modifications, this is the time. Because come public hearing time, when the item comes before you, I want you to be more than prepared, because that would be a moment where we can't really go back anymore, because we've had all this time to think about these things, to talk about them. So.
Commissioner Daly.
Thank you. So I appreciate getting sent both of those, and I did read through a good chunk of the land use email. I didn't spend as much time with the downtown plan. Can we, it's 7:45 here. Can we, at our next agenda or our next meeting or at an upcoming meeting, prior to it coming to us for actual voting, have requests that the consultant come out and go do a walkthrough, or if it's better at the staff level, just so we can agendize it and have like a presentation and a discussion about both the land use element and the downtown specific plan. I feel like, for me at least, I would benefit from a presentation, particularly if it's from a consultant who's been putting the whole thing together, to hear from them so that we can provide that feedback in the context of a presentation that we've received, so that whenever that does come back to us for a vote, we can provide whatever feedback before the vote, and then if that can get incorporated, yes or no, that's fine. But at least so we're not sitting in a meeting and seeing it for the first time and then being asked to vote on it. So is that possible?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Daly, that is possible. We just have to make sure that, and I'm not saying no, so don't read anything into my response. Sometimes when we enter into these contracts with consultants, we identify public outreach and presentations, et cetera. So we have, and I know we've had meetings with the GPAC, we've had meetings with the downtown area specific plan committee, and so on and so forth. Which I just have to make sure that there's enough meetings left in their contract for them to do what you just requested before the big, a presentation to everybody. So that's a possibility.
I'd appreciate that, and I understand. I completely understand. X number of presentations is part of the contract, and if you ask for more, you got to pay a little bit more. I think for me personally, I think I'm on the GPAC, but haven't met. I think I'm on the downtown plan. Also,
haven't met in 2 years.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
Yeah. So I think there'd be a lot of value for us as a commission to, at minimum, get a refresh on what we're going to be voting on.
Yes, I mean that's going to come. So right now the EIR has been completed. It's been reviewed. Once the EIR is complete, then we're going to do a series of GPAC meetings, Planning Commission meetings, and City Council meetings. So that's still going to come. What I'm hearing from you is, before we do that, to have this kind of get familiar with the project itself. Am I correct?
You are correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to go through Commissioner Quill. No. Vice Chair Garcia.
For staff, I had some comments regarding the zoning. So can we provide another table where it shows the area for each zone? And my other request would be,
so there is a map, but you see a comparison between the maps, but that is about that is about the best we're able to do at this particular time, because giving you excerpts of what is commercial and what is residential, that is pretty labor intensive. But maybe looking at a larger map, you'll be able to see, where the residential districts are, where the commercial districts are, and where the industrial districts are. Bear in mind that one of the major goals of this is, as we transition from old code to new code and we change land use designations, that we are mindful of existing development on those properties. If we make those developments non-conforming because we change something, it's a problem that we're going to have to live with, because now what has been used as a particular, name it, now becomes obsolete because we've changed zoning on those kinds of things. So those are some of the things that would come into consideration when we make these kinds of judgments. And also, it's also a cleanup process for us. The things that we have experienced that have been problematic to staff or to the Planning Commission, this is the kind of time to kind of straighten them out. We have to address issues with density, address issues with a lot of the assembly bills that have been passed that basically just say you have to approve these kinds of things ministerially. So there's a lot of that you're going to see. But I don't know if I
Vice Chair, are you looking for a larger map?
I was looking because in the report that we received, correct, we have existing zones and proposed zones. What I was trying to say is, like, per zone, is there any way that we can show the area, the square footage or square miles of how much?
Oh, you mean a tabulation of? So that kind of data exists in our housing element. Whereby we show the square footage of, residential properties, et cetera, et cetera. But for this exercise, I think we can do that. We can give you the square footage of, or a percentage of the total land area of the city is dedicated to residential low density or residential medium density, or a percentage is dedicated towards industrial or commercial. We can do that based on that information.
And then the other thing that I would like to request is if we can have like a revisions period or a breakdown when the general plan was updated, because from the maps that I see here, the last update or general plan that we had was 2005.
Yeah, that is why we're doing it now. It's general plan updates. A typical general plan is a long-range plan that is good for about 25 years. Most jurisdictions update their general plan maybe 10, 15 years. San Bernardino hasn't done that, and that's why we're doing what we're doing now. Yeah.
And then it would be also nice to see in this report how the reoccurrence on how often the general plan is going to be updated, the land use elements, GOP. So if we're updating it now in 2025, when in the near future do we plan to update it? Is basically what
you could probably estimate 10 years, but that doesn't mean that in the interim we don't come to you for amendments. We can have general plan amendments. We can have up to 4 amendments a year. We can have people who requested a zone change because they want to do something on a property and stuff like that.
And that's what I would like to see in this land use elements. If we can track the amendments, and I know we've also have been presented projects where we change the zoning. Is there any way that we can track that in a table to show this parcel was zoned R, now it's changed to commercial? Like how do we?
Commissioner Garcia, I understand what you're trying to say, but I just don't see how that helps the big picture. So what you're looking at is a big picture. What you're asking for is kind of similar to tell me how many projects we've approved at this location since 1964. We can provide you with that separately, but what this summary was designed to do is to summarize the major differences between the land use identified in our 2025 general plan when it was last adopted and the land uses that have been and the land use categories that are being requested or proposed in 2026. That is what that summary was designed to do. Getting into the weeds, we can bring you a particular location and give you the history. We can do that, but that's not what this summary was designed.
That's not something that's currently being done, correct?
Well,
there's no existing log.
There is a log that we can look at for zone changes and general plan amendments. There is a log that we can actually identify what those projects are. But what I'm saying is that was not the focus of what that report is. So if that's something you want separately, like we've done before, you wanted to know how many projects the Planning Commission has approved. We've given you that data at one time. If you want to know how many zone changes we've allowed since 2005, we can do that as well.
I think it would be nice to see that on an annual basis, at least track the previous 5 years, just so we can show like a track record, right? That our city, because there's always we hear from a lot of developers and contractors, right? The city of San Bernardino is difficult to work with. I would like to see some sort of report where we're showing we're working with different applicants. It's my recommendation.
I see where you're coming from. Like maybe in 2000, like maybe the last 3 years, 2003, there were 13 general plan amendments. In 2004, there were 15 general. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, and mainly the projects that have been presented to Planning Commission, or maybe we could just go back 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, we give you that. We give you that because Commissioner Quill asked for that information. We give you a 5-year summary of all the projects that have been approved by the Planning Commission. We did that. We did that last year. We gave you that list. When people talk about San Bernardino being difficult to work with, I don't think they're talking about zone changes in general plan amendment. They're talking about permitting process. How long does it take to pull a permit, and things of that nature.
Talking about the city council is what they're talking about.
I beg your pardon?
I said they're talking about the city council. That's what
right. So it's not. I don't think anybody would say, "Oh, San Bernardino, you didn't approve my zone change," because I don't think there's been any zone changes that have come before the Planning Commission that have been totally controversial that you said, oh, no, we're not going to do this. I mean, at the same time, I think we understand how we have to place sensitive land uses against a non-sensitive land use. I mean, that's been one of our issues with how do you reconcile. I think Commissioner Daley mentioned something earlier, the railroad tracks and the residential homes. I mean, somebody at that time thought having those homes around the railroad tracks was a wonderful idea. Those trains go by on a regular basis. It's deafening. I don't know how, but we have that. So in this particular instance, for example, we're looking at there's legislation regarding warehouses and residential areas, trucking activities and residential areas. We're trying to be sensitive to those kinds of things. How do we buffer and protect a particular land use which is sensitive to another land use that could be land use intensive? So we're making those kinds of changes, and we recognize those. I think what we're trying to accomplish here is to make sure that we are consistent with state laws regarding certain types of land uses that have to be allowed. B, that we're promoting our downtown specific plan and all the attributes that it brings. C, we've talked about it earlier this evening, transit-oriented uses, reduction of parking, reduction of setback, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the kind of things that you would see that this particular update is going to embrace. But I think the information you're looking for is information we can bring to you outside of this land use element summary. But if you think differently, I'm here to listen.
Perhaps the report could be resent to the commission?
If you want me to resend resend the
end of the year report?
The projects that we sent to you a year ago and update them to say, hey, these are all the projects the Planning Commission approved in 2025, 2024, 2023. Is that satisfactory?
Yeah, and I know in the past I have requested or recommended that on our website we show projects that are currently under development or in construction too, because a lot of the times residents are wondering, what are they building there? When is it going to be planned to complete? Another example would be the Sukhumvit Lake Park we have. I always drive by there. I don't even know as a planning commissioner what's the scheduled completion date.
That's up.
But Parks and Recreation, there's a Parks and Recreation Commission, and there's Parks and Recreation Department that is in charge of that particular location. But we will do the best we can.
Those are my recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Elliott, going to the land use, can you discuss how this will work in conjunction with or without truck lots near residential homes? How is that being addressed?
So the way we're addressing trucking activities is to actually call them out as trucking activities and make them subject to some kind of a discretionary approval by the Planning Commission and have specific standards so that there's an option. It is not something that would be ministerial. They would be discretionary. We would discourage is the word, any kind of trucking activity, land use intensive activity adjacent to residential zones, because we know they create a lot of environmental concerns, health, dust, etc., you name it. So you're not going to find too many land uses where you have an existing, where you have a new proposed industrial use that is going to be adjacent to a residential use. Now, there might be existing ones that are currently there, and if they are warehouses, I think AB 98 has basically told us exactly what we can or we can't do when it comes to that situation. AB 98 is handling all the trucking activities and warehousing, et cetera, and especially goes as far as protecting residential structures, even if they are legal and non-conforming.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So that will be addressed.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other comments or concerns by the commission?
I just had one more question. As part of this land use report, are you going to show an isometric showing like the setbacks? Because I know I've seen that in the development code.
So that would be part of the development code, and it would be all the development standards in all the zoning districts that we have. That shows. If you were building a structure within a C1 zone and it's not in the TOD or, within 5 miles of a transit station, you can have zero setback. But in the downtown specific plan that you have, what you just mentioned is actually identified. It shows you three-dimensional images of where buildings will be located, how far from the streets they would be, how tall they would be, what the FAR would be, et cetera, et cetera. So it's in that document that you have in the downtown specific plan.
Thank you. I believe our next item is the downtown discussion plan. And if we could follow along with that also and have a presentation, if we could see if the consultant is amenable to that.
That's an easier one to wrap around. It's a smaller document. It's about 72 pages. We can do that.
Thank you. Are there any comments by the commission?
Thank you for that. That's the one that I'm most excited for.
Are there any commissioner reports? Yes, Commissioner Pratt.
Last night I met with community members and stakeholders from the 6th Ward, and they're very passionate about what we do here on the Planning Commission, and it was a great meeting. I was really happy to be part of it. One of the things that they asked for was just addressed. They want to check the status on some projects, so I'm glad that came up. I'll be happy to share that report with them. And then for my own educational purposes, and I don't mean for this to be right now, because whoever the most appropriate person is, I would like to find some time to sit down. I just have questions about Planning Commission purview. See, I'm a U.S. Marine. I like structure. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to sit up here and use abstract thinking to come to conclusions. So if I can sit down with somebody and just ask some questions that I have, I mean, I've got, ABC questions about liquor licenses, things like that. Not right now, but if you could just give me some direction on I don't know if it's you or.
That would be me. Okay.
At a later date, obviously. I'll talk to you after. Thank you, sir.
Any other commissioner updates?
I just wanted to mention that I attended the SS4A on the 3rd earlier this week, and it's basically the Safe Streets and Roads for All along Baseline Street between, I believe it's Tippecanoe and Medical Center. Highly encourage our residents and others to attend. It's to improve intersections, lighting, crosswalks, and I just want to commend our city engineer, Azam, for working on this and making our city a little bit safer and really applying for available grants that can benefit our city. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is I'll be attending the Planning Commissioner Conference. Thank you, staff, for that. I sincerely appreciate that. I know in the previous years we had to pay for that cost out of pocket, and now this year it's being reimbursed or funded by the city. Thank you for that.
Any other commissioner reports? Is there a director report?
Just going to say, remind the commissioners who've signed up for the Planning Commission Academy. It's from the 11th through the 13th. I know some of you signed up for the entire length of the sessions, and I think Chair Sherrick, you signed up for just 1 day.
Yes.
And you may have received emails from Brenda indicating that you've been registered,
yes,
and so on and so forth. So when you return, submit your expenses and stuff like that, and we'll take care of it.
Thank you. If that's all, I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 8:01. Thank you.
Thank you.